You want to get a carpet cleaner excited? Just go up to him and tell him that the method that you use is so much better than the method that he uses. Do you think that's true? No, basically what you're talking about is there are 6 different methods that we're going to talk about. Each one of those methods will clean carpet. The idea is that it's just different ways to get there. So we're going to go through and start with them from absorbent compound and work our way all the way up through hot water extraction. Look at the different methods and look at the pros and cons of each method. When we start with a product called absorbent compound, think about when you're a little kid and you were in grade school and one of your schoolmates got sick in the hallway on the old VCT tile. Usually the old janitor came down there with some bucket of stuff. He threw on the stuff that looked like sand, threw it on top of that, and then it would sweep it up. That was an absorbent compound. Kitty litter would be an absorbent compound also. The idea of an absorbent compound is that mostly come in 2 different ways of doing this. You have one that's a synthetic compound, one that's a natural compound. Those are the 2 most popular ones we have out there. Like any method, you're going to do your principles of cleaning, which means before you do anything, you should vacuum the carpet. Secondly is normally you're going to use a pre-spray, and on those products you would also use a pre-spray to break down the soil. At that point you will apply the compound. In the case of Matrix Quick Dry, it is an absorbent compound that after you suspend it in the soil, you'll sprinkle it on there, brush it in with a counter-rotating brush with something like the ProCaps machine, and then you will vacuum it up. That's the extraction step. That's absorbent compound. What are the benefits? Benefits are fast dry time. That's what it's going to be. People can walk on the carpet almost immediately after using it. Absorbent compound. The second one is going to be dry foam. Dry foam is going to be used in a machine. It's a foaming product that's put down. Same thing, vacuum, pre-spray. Dry foam is applied through the machine, and then the foam itself absorbs the soil into it and then is extracted by the machine itself. That is dry foam. Third one is going to be absorbent pad, or what we refer to as bonnets. Now in front of me I have 2 bonnets that we'll talk about a little bit on each one of these. An absorbent pad can be used in different ways. One is that you can have your detergent in a bucket and you'll dip your pads into the bucket, then put the pad on the floor with a 175 rotary machine, and actually the machine itself is going to agitate and absorb the soil into the pad. The idea is that if you're looking for something a little bit more aggressive, you use the pad that has the green strips in it because that gives additional agitation. If you're looking for a situation like a olefin burber that continues wicking and you're trying to really fix that after you've hot water extracted, you may come through with a cotton bonnet, which is like big absorbent bath towels that you're getting down on the floor and doing this, except the machine does it for you. The one downside to absorbent pad is that these need to be changed fairly regularly, flipped over to use the clean side. If you continue using the pad with it stops absorbing soil, what you're going to have is just even distribution of the soil throughout. The upside of this is that you get a lot of productivity on this particular method. The last one that I'll talk about before we get into hot water extraction will be rotary shampoo, which is your oldest one. That's the one that we've been using way before we ever had this thing called steam cleaning. This was just basically a rotary shampoo machine with a shower feed system. Your chemical is placed into the tank, mixed with water. It's shower fed through a tube into the brush. The brushing mechanism at 175 RPM actually creates the foam that actually attacks the soil and holds it in there. Now this can either be followed up by dry vacuuming once the carpet is dried, or if you have one of those really nasty places like an old restaurant with a lot of grease on it, coming through and using the rotary scrub system prior to hot water extraction would be the best one you could do, the most aggressive of all of them. The one that's relatively new is actually going to be encapsulation cleaning. Encapsulation cleaning is actually an old method that was kind of brought back with new chemistry. In this case, what we have is we're going to apply either through a pre-spray, a preconditioning, or through the machine itself like a ProCaps machine, where you actually use the T-jet to spread this out from the machine itself. And this is sprayed onto the carpeting, brushed into the carpeting with counter-rotating brushes, and then allowed to dry in the carpet itself. It crystallizes around the soil, and then you'll come back at a later point, whether that's the next day or the next month, and you will dry vacuum the carpet and you'll pick up all the encapsulated soil. This is probably the up and coming and most popular of the commercial maintenance methods. Now at some point in time you still may need to follow up with a hot water extraction, which leads us into the last one and probably the most popular method. Hot water extraction can be used either with a portable, or we can use it in a truck mount or a walk-behind system. It is the most effective because of the heat. Most other systems don't have heat, so hot water extraction is going to be the most versatile and recommended by the most carpet manufacturers.